allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I do have one person to mention tonight. A moment of silence for Bob Hicks. Thank you. Hello, can you hear me?
Turn up just a touch.
Is this on?
It
Yep.
gets pretty loud.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now you can hear me breathing.
Yeah, it gets pretty loud if you go more than half. I want to catch the curse words, that's why.
Check her heart.
I'm still alive. Do we have any petitions or public comments? I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from last month's meetings.
I just have
Sorry,
one slight change.
is a community event a public comment?
Yes,
Okay, so I have a public comment.
go ahead.
So this is as yet unconfirmed because we don't have the American Legion Hall, though I've requested it of John Nilsson, but it wants to be a reunion of Kesey and the Sojourner Truth Girl Scouts who met there 2 years ago on her 101st birthday. And this would be her 103rd birthday. And she's very interested in meeting with them, especially the older girls as they come into the community, so that she can, you know, address the heart as she did here and truth. And it would be in the afternoon, we think, of February 1st from 2 to 4 p.m.
And
So,
where is this?
At the American Legion Hall.
Can you email me the information?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
So just one slight change to the minute.
Where's that?
Of December 3rd. It's the first paragraph under also present. It should say, last sentence, Councilwoman Mesker said that the next meeting should say visioning session for the public.
I'm not finding that.
Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Visioning instead of envisioning
yeah, session instead of section.
session. Actually, I do have a change, I forgot, I didn't know if you changed the version that, I think I pointed this out to you, but I don't know, on the next paragraph after that, January 1st, there will be swearing in for John Hughes at Town Hall, she said.
I have one change for December 3rd.
Same minute.
Fourth paragraph, Supervisor Walsh reviewed the allowance for the Association of Towns, saying that it is going to remain the same.
That it is?
Yeah,
Correct.
it says
It is.
it. It's a typo.
Okay.
Can't rely on autocorrect.
No, it automatically changes it for you.
Oh, that's
If
good.
they think it's something,
Right.
it's not.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
I second
Gotta get in there.
Roll vote, Councilman Hughes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger,
Yes.
Councilman Kozlowski,
Yes.
Councilman Ryan,
Yes.
Supervisor Walsh.
Yes. Councilman Kozlowski, would you like to start with the committee reports, please?
Sure. I have been able to review the Town Justice Court's monthly reports to the Comptroller for the months of September, October, and November. I have not yet been able to establish a time to meet with them and review their December report. As for the Environmental Commission, They are hosting, they had an informational meeting scheduled for tomorrow night, which they've opened up to the public. They're meeting at 7:30 here.
I got an email saying it's at the rec center, so can you verify that?
To be verified, yes.
I wasn't sure, because
I'm not
do you know if that?
We gave a key to the rec center for them today.
Yeah, I believe it's at the rec
I
center.
think it's at the rec center too.
Okay.
Sorry.
As my colleagues have said, 7:30 tomorrow at the rec center. And they're hosting Riverkeeper is coming back along with a number of the upstream towns along the Rondout to talk about this, a Save the Rondout coalition, looking at additional ways to address water quality concerns. And so that'll be at 7:30 till tomorrow at the Recreation Center.
I did get an email from them saying that they recommended to reappoint the, two of the people, but I don't think they realized 3 people are, I think, up for reappointment. So if you could mention that tomorrow. Minnie can verify that, but I believe 3 people. Because it's every,
No, it's
three,
three.
yeah,
Yeah.
so they only mentioned 2.
Maybe
And,
because
I
one was
think
just
they-
replaced and.
Okay, thank you.
And,
I have no news from the chamber.
excuse me. Councilman Ryan?
Good evening. First off, for the youth program, I will be leaving that commission to go to the rec, but I want to give a summary of the last couple of months because it's all been kind of vague. Attendance for October was 212, for November 141, and December 181. But I guess the important thing is, once again, to support our St. Pauli clothing shed down there, to give to that, because in October, we received $234.64, November $269.33, and December being the worst month that people are giving things away, we still got $197.20. So thank everyone, and residents and outsiders who contribute to that, because it's really been really working out well. Speaking to Eric, our director at the Youth Commission, he's gonna try to make a go at doing the car show again this year, because I guess it is a good fundraiser. It gets people out. It gets a lot of the vendors that want to buy a space. So I'm still going to try to help him out with that. And I have a gentleman that may run it for us, and then come up with a percentage and a difference to split with him. Because running one of these car shows, it's pretty involved. It's not just, it's just a very involved thing I know very well.
Who did it?
Well, most of the people that have done it have since
We've had some
passed
people
away.
that died, so They had a club. that was
John Smith is probably the last of the Mohicans, and he's kind of,
Yeah.
he would answer questions.
Yeah. It was that whole club, but
They're followers, they're not really leaders. I mean, the Craigs have all left, Wayne Waddell, of course, Ronnie Lake, so it's really unfortunate, but we're gonna try to make a go out of it.
Do they have a date for it yet, Bob?
Excuse me?
Do they have a date for it yet?
Still on discussion. The only thing I can tell you, they're really leaning on not having a one-day event, planning it on a Saturday with a Sunday as a rain day. Because so many years we lost out by having it one day and not a rain date, and we lost out and got stuck with trophies. That's another thing. We have about 26 trophies that all we need is to change the placards to give. So we're, as far as that, we're ahead of the gun. And I know Tom Slattery very well, so I'm gonna touch base with him because he knows how to run these things. He does a good job, so I told Eric I would speak to him and see if we could work out a deal. Okay, moving forward, Water and Sewer Department, I don't have numbers for the month of January, and they're probably in my box, and I apologize. I get out of work at 3, and at 5 minutes to 3, they told me I'm not leaving anywhere until the project's finished. So I didn't leave work till 5:30, so I apologize for that. But we did have a slight mishap on Main Street. An outside contractor had drilled into our water main, which caused a problem. It's been repaired, and I believe that they will be taking care of the difference, so taxpayers won't be picking up the tab on a mistake that was done on their
And the
part.
boiled water has been lifted.
ZBA, nothing's going on there, it's all quiet. And Highway Department, once again Supervisor Gallagher and the crew have been in full swing, keeping roads plowed, sanded, and he did tell me that when we had good weather there for a while, he recovered 80,000 tons, I think,
Wow.
pounds. 80,000.
Town-
80,000 something.
Either way,
Square
it's
yards?
something.
Anyway, it was a large recovery
Right.
to put back into our salt shed so that we can, because like I said
Recycle.
earlier,
Yeah.
That's
the
it.
salt has gone up 22%, so it's been a big help. And I think that wraps it up.
Thank you.
Could I ask you a question just about the water main break? I had posted on Facebook the boil water advisory, and it was shared and everything, but it came up of people wondered how they could be notified, and have we looked into, or could we look into a robocall to water district?
So this is the deal. Mandy is researching the New York alert to see if it's something we can do, which they do a text. But Terry and I have talked about this, and he has repeatedly requested emails from every user. He says he has about 25 emails. Those people got an email directly to them. And, he says every year he's asked for emails and people don't give them to him. But if they had everybody's email, it would be, 2 seconds, he'd have everybody. Did go in the paper, Mandy put it in the paper.
Do we have to have a phone? Do we
Well,
have
I
phone
wish
numbers?
Freya
Yeah,
Less was
but,
here
you're
because,
talking about, 500 people have to get called. That's
Right,
just
no,
not.
it's like with a robocall, you could just do it.
Yeah.
well, they have a Main Street committee, and
It's not just Main Street, though.
I understand that, and that's what my second part was. 70% of it is gonna be from Main Street, we have a problem, and then James Street. So, I mean, we should be able to cover it through residents' assistance on if they know of something or see something to get it out there.
Well, I think there was a lot of, word of mouth that happened. I mean, it's pretty, the crew was out there for 6 hours working. Everybody asked what's going on, why don't I have water? We got a lot of phone calls, people
Go to
questioning
Stewart's.
why we had no water.
Right.
Stewart's
Well,
knows
right,
everything.
it was at the
Stewart's
water.
didn't even know what was going on.
What's that?
Stewart's told me they had no idea
Right.
what was going on,
Yeah.
that the cold water stopped working, but the hot water was fine, just a little brown.
That's
So
because they
decided-
probably have a hot water tank, not because they didn't have
Right,
any
and
water.
it's not so much the water, when the water stops working, but more like if there's a boil, like if something
Yeah,
happens, if
but
boil
for
water.
years, when I lived in that district, you'd get a letter in the mail, and by the time you got the letter, it was too late, so.
Who
I
knows how
think,
many days it can take up your life?
I mean, I'm not saying no to the robocall, it's another option, we can make a comparison, but we are looking to see, New York Alert would put us in a position to be able to alert for other things besides just that.
I talked to,
I mean, if you had to do a robocall for everybody in the town, if there was any other issue, it'd be too much.
I talked to Perry about it a little bit today, and, he said he doesn't know, because it's more of like big emergency stuff and car accidents. He said he's gonna look into it, he said he's gonna see if there's something he can do at the county, like, 'cause they send things out, but he's
Yep.
not sure for that kind of thing, how it would work. So he said he would look into it, and,
Well, it's still it was a traffic issue, it was more than just
Right.
one issue, so.
And
I
I
mean-
did,
I saw Saugerties when they had water main break, it was on the New York Alert,
Right.
came across as a New
there's,
York Alert.
you can also, there is a way you can contact, if you, on the radio, they do traffic alerts too.
Yeah, the problem is
That's
that
the-
if you're not directly, and this is the complaint, because we put it in the paper, we put it on the website, we talked to many people, and, we answered phone calls, but I think the complaint is that we're not directly contacting the
Okay.
person. So
I
see.
you can put it on the radio, and if somebody's not listening to the radio, or they didn't
Right.
read the newspaper, they don't know
Yeah.
about it.
Right.
Yeah,
So I
the-
think the concern is that they want to be directly contacted, so we're trying to figure out how to do that.
What made me think of the robocall was that, I don't know if any of you have kids in the school district, but I get called from Rosendale like every day. It's a robocall, they let you know about every single event, and it's just,
But
And-
that only works if you have a list for every different thing. So you've got the water district, you have a sewer district, you know, you have a fire district, you have, you know, so you have the whole town. Are you gonna make a robocall
Right.
call to everybody in the town? That's something we
Right.
have to really, and you have tenants. I mean, this is the other thing, you know, you have, for the water district, for instance, you could be calling the owner of the building, but you're not notifying the tenants that are using the water. So you know, it's a tough call, figuring out how to manage that. But I mean, we're doing the best we can to make sure the public knows. And, you know, it's just impossible to know that you're notifying everybody, especially, you know, this happened Friday afternoon, 6 hours later, you know, you finally get it repaired, but it's the weekend now, you know, so.
Why don't we make Billy Liggins drive around every half hour?
With a
Whatever.
bullhorn.
I think you put a sign on the top of your car,
He doesn't
maybe.
have a green truck anymore.
We'll get a car,
I need a PA.
and it looks like a pickle, and that way you know it's making the,
But in the past, I remember receiving a flyer on my doorstep telling me that there was a walk.
They might have done that in the past. I know when I remember getting stuff in the mail, whenever we switched to the well, because the well was not potable, so we used to get that. But, you know, by the time you get the notice, you're already in the middle of it, you know, so. I think that was a concern people had, but I think Terry made a really good point, you know, people really need to give their email to him so that he can send out a notice to everybody, and then everybody would have had it within 5 minutes.
The one thing with email is that those elderly people don't
Right.
necessarily.
Right, but then you could say, so-and-so doesn't have email, so they're gonna leave so-and-so's email address so that that person can notify them. I think you have to have something like that.
It seems like it has to be something really, like, has to get to be more foolproof, because maybe this break's is sort of not a real dangerous one. But if it has, you know, if it's a real potential for real serious contamination and people must know, then we can't really leave it up to chance.
I mean,
ideally.
I can't speak for Terry, but the test came back that there was no there was
Right,
no
yeah, it's just
contamination.
a pure-
But you don't know that, you know.
Right.
I
The
mean-
boil water alert is there because of the break,
Yeah,
not because
anytime,
we
yeah.
are.
I mean, we'd have to draw a line somewhere. If there was something that dangerous, Terry would be the first one to know, and he would secure the water, so nobody
Right.
would have water.
Right.
And that would be getting information out there.
Yeah. Now, the thing is that the
No,
water,
really, I
water
really.
was turned off for
If
6
you don't have water,
hours.
you're
So
gonna be
people
calling
knew to
up.
check, well, why is there no water, you know, then they asked the question, and that's why, you know, most of the time people.
And we did, a lot of people
Yeah.
called, you know.
A lot of calls
You
came
know,
in.
and it was nice because most people
Okay.
were saying that they were so sorry to Terry being out there. But, you know, we did, it was nonstop phone calls, I can say that. So, at least people were calling.
And it was only a small segment, like we weren't affected by it on,
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah, I mean, it was 213.
Was it all up to?
Well, he rerouted heater, which had been turned off, so he put that back on, that gave them some water, but it didn't give them as much as they're used to.
Right.
So.
Okay.
All
sorry
right,
for
let's
that.
move on from this.
My turn?
Your turn.
Okay. Before I begin my committee reports, just if anybody's wondering, I got something in my eye, and it's makes me, my eye swelled up, and it feels like I've been crying all day. But I'll get over it, if I look a little strange. But I have to say, as my first, looking in, you know, meeting all the committee folks or talking to them and then preparing this, I was just, everybody was so helpful, everybody in town, for my first liaisonships. It was amazing how everybody I talked to just rose to help me out, to get my report together. It was really, that made me want to cry, so.
It's already behind.
Right, it all worked out. The
Even a man that's getting hung gets a last meal.
The assessor's office, nothing to report, other than there's an assessor's grievance day on May 26th, from 2 to 4 and 7 to 9, probably to be in the assessor's office. The High Falls Water Commission, I met with Terry yesterday, nothing to report, and they meet only quarterly. Next meeting, I don't know what that date, when that is, but I'll find out. The Economic Development Commission, January's meeting was canceled, and so was the rescheduled meeting, is that right? Yeah. But I talked to Brianna yesterday, and, or this morning, and she spoke about, parking for Main Street at the last meeting was a big topic, and Main Street and the central business area in general. There was talk about possibly moving the firehouse on Main Street to an alternate locale, and that was a controversial topic.
Yeah.
It seems
Gotta
like
start
that's a
war.
pretty radical. But it sounds like, you know, it was the kind of meeting where throw anything out and, you know.
Very improvisational.
That's good. Out of
Talked
the box
about
brainstorming.
the Finding Rosendale project. If people want to learn more about that, probably any of us could talk about it, but
That we'd set it away.
there was, in the Finding Rosendale project, when we met in November, there was to be a January meeting that's to be announced, I suppose, because it's not up yet.
You mean the next public meeting?
Yeah.
We haven't announced that yet.
If anybody has any questions about that, I can certainly talk about it, or any board member or supervisor can talk about it. What else from the Economic Development Commission? With the water main work coming up on Main Street, there was discussion about how to prepare, notify, and take advantage of repair opportunities when the piping is unearthed.
We've discussed that with the engineers to be prepared for that.
Right. Okay, the planning board had their workshop organizational meeting. What's
To
that?
add to your product.
Okay.
That's a financial report.
Oh, thank you.
Part of it.
Oh, great, okay, thanks. There was, last week's meeting, there was a public hearing on the Sprint cell tower for panel upgrades, upgrading parts with the same. After the hearing, after the public part of the hearing, the resolution passed on this, or it was approved. Public hearing on the Cheddar property of Coutant Road, review and approval of internal lot line adjustment. No public comments made, proposal approved. And for the planning, am I going on too long?
Very
No,
good.
you're
So you
fine.
can just read the total
No,
of, you're cut off.
The planning board, monthly receivables, total receipts, quantity 7, total amount $1,405.43. Also noting that for both planning board and the building department, they share a Leslie Truitt as the clerk, correct? Or
Leslie's on leave right now.
right, so she's on leave, and Heidi Haynes is filling
is
in
gone.
some capacity, right?
She's not filling in anymore
So
now.
Risa Casas has filled in for
Yeah.
most of that, and so it seems like things are a little bit in flux.
Yep.
And,
So that
We'll be
that
more-
position is open, are you all doing a,
Worked out well Thursday.
right, right, but you're in the process of looking to fill that position.
We can't fill it until Leslie resigns. She hasn't resigned.
I guess you will soon.
Wait and see.
the building department, Tom Fiore's been out most last week and this week sick, but I talked to Dave Massimi and to Ryan Howells, and their pressing concerns are movement on the property maintenance code, and also the chicken ordinance.
Which are both on my list.
Right, okay. And they receive a lot,
I'll second that.
they receive a lot of calls for both those concerns. And there is an important recall up on the building department section of the town website for a certain brand of certain model of kid brand smoke detectors and smoke and see. There's a a recall order out there, and you can find that on the website. If you click on building department, or if you want, I can tell you the model numbers and the dates they were manufactured.
I think it's hanging in my office also, Dave can put it up.
Okay. It's only for a very limited manufacturing, a
yes.
couple months. Building department, total fees collected, let's see, total permits issued, looks
Probably
like.
has what I have in this one. Is that
I'm gonna leave that for now,
Which
so
one?
I
That
can interpret
he
this
has
better, but
building permits.
total fees collected, 2,580. That's
I
it.
think we'll look something up.
Okay.
So let's see. So I'm in transition.
Councilman
from-
Hughes just burnt all your time.
I've got this huge pile. But I'm between the planning board and the youth commission, which you did, so I'll be at the next youth
Well,
commission meeting.
technically, you probably all still have the last year's report,
Well,
because you
right.
didn't get this month's.
But what
so.
I was gonna say, I was out of town, so I actually missed the last planning board meeting, but in December.
Except now he's just on January's.
Yeah.
Because you're past that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But, so, I don't know what happened in December, but, okay, let's see, so I'm
You
gonna
didn't get a
start.
report for it?
No, you wanna tell us what happened in December?
It was Jettle Lot Line. We scheduled a public hearing for them.
Who was that for, Bill? Why did they need a lot line adjustment?
They have probably about 10 or 12 parcels.
Yeah?
And they erased property lines between smaller lots and made to bigger lots. It did not affect Coutant Road. They did have some sections in there that apparently belonged to the thruway, and John Dipple was the surveyor and wanted to see about deeding the property back to the town, to the county. And I told him it was a town road. And I believe that the road that goes from Joe Turkles back into the thruway, back in the 50s, that the thruway wanted to give that to the town, and I don't think the town ever accepted it, so those might have been similar parcels. But there's little spots of Coutant Road that are actually owned by the thruway.
Well, I guess, with this, especially with this Pilgrim Pipeline coming up, those are gonna be crucial pieces of land to know who owns it.
Right.
Because if a fight occurs, we're gonna have to know who to.
Well, I think
put the
there's
ring.
3 50-foot segments that are separated by privates owned by the town, so they're gonna have to use the air hook to get them over it.
So, and the, HRVR site plan, was that?
That was approved, yes. That was in November.
That was approved.
Without having my satchel here, it's hard to remember what we did.
On that, we have to talk sometime tonight about setting up the labor council, now that they're hiring labor. Okay, so the transfer station, Renee gave her end-of-year report. And for 2014, she took in, transfer station, took in 10,900, no, 109. She put a period in, or a comma in the wrong
Let's buy a
place.
new car.
109,640, yeah, we just dropped one digit there. $109,649.52. For the month of December, she took in $3,902.19. Let's see here. Dog control, took in $100. And do dog licenses. And the clerk office took in $5,071.35.
And typically, you get the report, you're getting the report for building? Did you say how much they brought in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that goes on Mandy's report too, so that's confusing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
just so
because
you-
Oh, yeah, it's on building permits.
Yeah.
So I wonder if, right,
You have it broke down there, right, Mandy?
it is broken down, but maybe,
Yeah, so
We're
just
double
when you
counting,
do the
so-
report, just be aware that part of your report is, includes building.
Yeah, that's the new system. What Tom takes it in.
It gives it to her. Gives it to her.
Okay. okay. And that's it.
All right. excuse me. In the general fund, $240,571.46. In highway, $378,273.39. In capital highway, $21,154.59. In capital, $70,133.16. In rec sub, $25,442.31. In capital rec, $791.70. In light, $1,343.91.
I think my feet are cold. I do too, it doesn't, absolutely not. I was saying today, it's because my house has wood stove and it's 85 degrees at all times in my house. But, yeah.
Walk on your hands.
Try it.
Rises with you up there. You'll be good to go.
Good to see you.
There's that to Mandy, please.
Mandy?
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to accept the resignation of Randall Weinkoop.
I'll second that with deepest regrets.
Roll vote, Councilman Hughes,
Yes, with regrets.
Councilwoman Metzger,
Yes, with regret.
Councilman Kozlowski,
Yes, with regrets.
Councilman Ryan,
Yes, with regret.
Supervisor Walsh.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to accept the resignation of Robert Roddy from safety officer.
I second that.
I thought it was just court.
Oh, no, it's for safety officer.
Oh, that's why.
No, we didn't just hire
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Okay.
I thought he was,
Oh, no.
We just reappointed, yeah.
Oh, so he's not going to.
I thought he was gonna stay on as a safety officer.
He was, but something came up with work and he has to move on.
I was, okay.
So I'm looking, he resigned from court officer last year. And then
Okay.
he was gonna stay on as safety officer, but something's come up with work where he has to, he can't do it anymore. So I've actually asked him to recommend someone else that he knows all the guys that are doing that for the state, so I'm waiting for some. I did have one recommendation, waiting to hear from this person to see if they're interested. So we weren't planning on another training until spring, so we have a little time to find someone. Might have to reach out to the sheriff's department too, that's the other option.
I need a second for
I'll second.
Yeah.
With regret.
Definitely with regret.
Big regret.
He's been a huge asset to town, getting us on board with all the safety requirements mandated to training.
Roll vote, Councilman Hughes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger,
Yes.
Councilman Kozlowski,
Yes.
Councilman Ryan,
Yes, with regret.
Supervisor Walsh.
Yes. And the next motion is to accept the resignation of Ezra Waltermeyer from the Rec Commission. It's been a while since he's stopped been on the commission, but he never sent in a resignation, so we finally got that. So, sorry to see him go, but, we need to make room for the next person that we appoint, so.
I'll second that motion.
Roll vote, Councilman Hughes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger,
Yes,
Councilman Kozlowski,
with regret, I should say.
Yes.
Councilman Ryan,
No. He ain't coming.
Okay, that's the.
That's better than
Pretty
regret.
good.
No, he ain't coming.
Is that what you want us to count?
That's what I want you to count.
Okay. Supervisor Wall?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to hire Patrick Ferry for court officer for $12 per hour.
I'll second that.
Roll call, Councilman Hughes?
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger?
Yes.
Councilman Kozlowski?
Yes.
Councilman Ryan?
I abstain.
Supervisor Wall?
Yes,
He's my nephew.
I know.
We got the name
I
connection.
got the memo.
He goes all over.
Have a permanent abstention
Yeah.
against the point.
He has worked for the police department before.
Yeah.
So, but we're in desperate need of
Huh?
a court officer, so that'll.
I've met him.
Yeah.
I've talked to him when he was working for the police department.
He's now working for Ellendale Police Department.
Okay, well, this will be a good fit, I think. That would work.
Ellenville's the
That's
rough.
nice. All right, and I got my budgetary transfers next, which are a lot. These are the end of the year. Holy cow. Yeah.
My favorite ones were for the phone.
I need a resolution 1, 2015. What is this? 3. Thank you. You look that up every month before you.
I don't check.
Okay. Be resolved that the town board of the town of Rosendale hereby authorize the following budgetary transfers. General fund from election CE to justice PS, $1,500. From election CE to justice CE, $2,650. From election CE to assessors PS, $200. From election CE to town clerk CE, $150. From police PE to building CE, $10,000. From election CE to data processing PS, $2,500. From police PS to data processing PS, $4,216.42. From police CE to police EQ, that's $5,000. Traffic control equipment to crossing guard PS, $28.56. From OSHA CE to OSHA, $48.88. From dog control equipment to dog control PS, $100. From election CE to superintendent of highways PS, $1,600. From economic development CE to publicity, $50. From contingency to pool CE, $10,000. From playground rec CE to pool CE, $25,000. From ZBA PS to planning PS, $800. From UCRRA to environmental CE, $850. From refuse and garbage equipment to refuse and garbage PS, $1,600. From contingency to employment benefits, medical insurance, $18,000. From election CE to celebration CE, $350. From contingency to unemployment insurance, $2,700. From police PS to police CE, $8,227.21. From employment benefits, social security to special items unallocated, $8,369.11. From a justice equipment to town board PS, $11.24. And highway transfer the sum of machinery equipment to general repairs, CE, $1,000. From machinery equipment to general maintenance, PS, $1,000. From machinery equipment to machinery, PS, $2,000. From machinery equipment to snow removal, CE, $2,000. From purification CE to administration PS, $200. From transfer district CE to supply CE, $4,000. From transfer district equipment to employment benefits and medical insurance, $1,533.51. I'm sorry, that was water fund, those last three. Sewer fund transfers the sum of administration CE to administration PS, $1,000. And you'll notice that pool CE, 25, that we were able to put 25,000 into the pool fund. That's what that's about.
See, are we can do that, can move into the I'll second.
Roll vote, Councilman Hughes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger,
Yes.
Councilman Kozlowski,
Yes.
Councilman Ryan,
Yes.
Supervisor Wall.
Yes, I thank you for that, because we needed it done.
Yeah.
It's already been done, so. All right. And then we have one here that had to be done separately. 2015 for resolution 2014 year-end budgetary transfer. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Rosendale hereby authorize the following budgetary transfer. Capital projects, a capital reserve highway, $15,000. This will allow him to use the money for this year.
I'll second that.
Roll vote, Councilman Hughes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger,
Yes.
Councilman Kozlowski,
Yes.
Councilman Ryan,
Yes.
Supervisor Wall.
Yes.
Need the vote.
So the document I sent you out, this, for the pool, there's been a modification, actually, it's not the resolution that has the modification, it's the
Notice?
notice to bidders. And the new document is in your folder. The main issue was that the a New York Economic Development Program grant that is administered by the Dormitory Authority of New York State was not listed on there, and I wanted that on there, so that has been added. That's the $250,000 grant we got.
That's the notice, is it separate for the pool grant?
Yes, it was in the packet that you got by email.
Got it.
I read everything.
So it's adding that. And then the only other thing that I want to change, which is not in here, is I want them to sign 5 copies rather than 3. So it says triplicate in our paperwork, so we're going to change that to 5. That way we have a copy for the grant administrators along with the other parties that need it.
So this is the request for proposals in the bid packet.
When you have
is
a
what we're
when we
discussing.
sign the contract, we need 5 copies, is what I'm saying. So when I read the resolution, when I get to that, remind me that that's supposed to say 5. It says in triplicate, we're gonna say.
Triplicate.
Yeah, what do I have to say? Yeah. Resolution 1/2015, 5. A resolution authorizing bids for pool facility improvements and reconstruction. Whereas the town of Rosendale finds that it is essential that the Rosendale pool and related facilities located on Route 32, Rosendale, New York, be improved and reconstructed. And whereas the town has obtained partial funding for the improvements and reconstruction through an Environmental Protection Fund grant administered by the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, Historic Development under Article 15 of the Executive Law, and through a New York State Economic Development Program grant administered by the New York State Dormitory Authority. And whereas the state of New York is committed to providing minority and women-owned business equal opportunity to participate in government contracts, with the following goals having been set for this project at 20% MWBE, to include at least 1% participation in either category, and the successful bidder may be required to furnish reports showing the participation of various business enterprises, subcontractors, and suppliers on the contract. And whereas the town has caused contract documents, plans, and bid specifications to be prepared by Weston Sampson, 22 High Street, Rensselaer, New York, 12144. Now therefore be resolved that the town shall solicit sealed bids for said repairs with such sealed bids to be submitted to the town clerk, 1915 Lucas Avenue, Cottinghill, New York, 12419, on or before 2 p.m. on Thursday, February 19, 2015, and be it further resolved that plans and specification for the purpose work will be on file and publicly exhibited as of Wednesday, January 28, 2015, at the office of the town clerk, 1915 Lucas Avenue, Cottinghill, New York, 12419, and at the office of Weston & Sampson, 22 High Street, Rensselaer, New York, 12144. Copies of said plans and specifications may be obtained at the offices of the town clerk and Weston & Sampson between the hours of 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. And be it further resolved that a pre-bid meeting will be held on Friday, February 6, 2015 at 10 a.m. at Town Hall. And be it further resolved that a deposit of $50 made payable to the town of Rosendale will be required for each set of bidding documents furnished to prospective bidders, which sum will be refunded only to those submitting a formal bid. If said bidding documents are returned in good condition with 30 days after the opening of the bid. If additional sets of bidding documents have been obtained, one-half the amount of the deposit will be refunded upon the return in good condition each additional set. Refunds will not be made to non-bidders or the materials suppliers, and be it further resolved that each bid must be accompanied by a certified check in the sum of 5% of the amount of the bid drawn upon a national or state bank or trust company to the order of the town of Rosendale, or a bond with sufficient sureties as a penal sum equal to 5% of the bid. Condition that if bidder's bid is accepted, bidder will enter into a contract for the same, and that bidder will execute such further security as may be required for the performance of the contract. Separate performance and payment bonds, each equal to 100% of the contract price, will be required of the successful bidder, and the bond shall be satisfactory to the town of Rosendale Council. And be further resolved that the bidder to whom the contract may be awarded shall attend at the said opening place of the said bids with the sureties offered by the bidder within 7 days after the date of the notice of award, and there sign the contract for the work in 5 copies. In case of the bidder's failure to do so, and in case of bidder's failure to give further security, as herein prescribed, the bidder will be considered as having abandoned the same. And the certified check or other bid security accompanying bidder's proposal shall be forfeited to the town of Rosendale. And be it further resolved that this resolution is subject to the approval of the contract documents, plans, and bid specifications by the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation, the New York State Dormitory Authority, and the attorney of the town of Rosendale, and the town supervisor shall be authorized to approve minor changes to these documents as may be necessary. And be it further resolved that the town of Rosendale reserves the right to waive any informalities in or to reject any oral bid submitted. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is directed and authorized to advertise the next notice to bidders for this project.
Got a correction.
Sure.
In the second whereas, third line, it's Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation.
Yeah. Parks, Recreation, Historic Preservation.
Which number?
Second paragraph.
Whereas, third line.
It's probably correct in here. Yeah, it is, it's right in the notice to bidders, it's correct.
Preservation. Okay.
I think, yeah. Okay, thank you.
I need a
Second, anybody?
I'll second.
We want to get this pool built, right?
Roll vote, Councilman Hughes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger,
Yes.
Councilman Kislowski,
Yes.
Councilman Ryan,
Yes.
Supervisor Walsh.
Yes,
Who seconded that?
that's good, Jim. Okay, I am going to. And on the, also, one other thing, there was a blank in the instructions to bidders. The date, when we filled that in the resolution, as February 6th. So I did pencil that in, but the final copy will have that in there. Next is a contract with Crosspoint, because now that everybody has officially moved in as of today, we need to to amend it to be a contract for one contract for everybody. So Resolution 1, 2015-6, renewal of maintenance agreement with Crosspoint Connecting for telephone system at Ronnet Municipal Center. Whereas up to the date, communications technology is essential for smooth, efficient operation. And whereas the town board of the town of Rosendale contracts with Crosspoint Solutions for telephone communication services. And whereas Crosspoint Solutions submitted yearly contract for renewal of services and maintenance in the amount of $1,632 for the telephone system at 1915 Lucas Avenue, Cottikill, New York 12419, effective February 1st, 2015 through February 1st, 2016. Said contract, which is attached here to and made part hereof. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Rosendale hereby approves the aforementioned service contract. And let me add and also be it resolved to authorize me to sign such contract.
I'll second it.
Roll vote, Councilman Hughes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger,
Yes.
Councilman Prislavsky,
Yes.
Councilman Ryan,
Yes.
Supervisor Walsh.
Yes.
Nope.
6.
6.
Who seconded that?
Bob?
So we were notified by the grant administrators for the project Barton Woodruff is doing to develop the planning documents for the sewer upgrade to the plant. And I will need to make an amendment to the resolution we did in November to include the authority for the supervisor to sign the documents. So,
This
resolution.
has been discussed and approved, and that's the only change that we're doing.
Yeah, it's just that they would not, the resolution we sent in only allowed me to sign the contract, but not the other documents.
And those are the documents received by
Yes.
emails.
Resolution approving, it's Resolution 1, 2015-7. Approval for Barton Judah to submit a pre-development planning grant, PPG, for Town of Rosendale wastewater treatment plant improvements. Whereas on November 12, 2014, the Town Board of the Town of Rosendale passed 11/2014-6, Resolution 11/2014-6, and whereas the direction of the USDA, modification to Resolution 11/2014-6 is needed for the grant application to authorize supervisor to sign any and all documents necessary for the administration of the USDA grant that is subject of that resolution. And whereas this resolution is intended to amend Resolution 11/2014-06 to include such modification. Whereas Bartlett Judas of 10 Airline Drive, Suite 200, Albany, New York 12205 has proposed to the Town of Rosendale to apply for wastewater treatment improvement engineering study. And whereas pre-development planning grants are available through the United States Department of Agriculture to assist in paying costs associated with the development of an application for proposed wastewater project. And whereas the Town of Rosendale is interested in doing a phased approach to wastewater treatment plant improvements, and whereas the town would like to take advantage of the USDA offering of pre-development planning grants, which will cover up to 50% of the cost of preliminary engineering reports, PER. And whereas Barton Judas has submitted a scope of work to address the necessary requirements for said grant described herein for a lump sum fee of $18,600. Now therefore resolved the Town Board of the Town of Rosendale authorize the supervisor to sign said agreement, which has been attached and made a part hereof. That was the previous agreement. And be it further resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Rosendale authorize the supervisor to sign any and all documents necessary for the USDA pre-planning grant.
I'll second it.
Roll vote, Councilman Hughes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger,
Yes.
Councilman Prislavsky,
Yes.
Councilman Ryan,
Yes.
Supervisor Walsh.
Yes. And then next is the Town of Rosendale notice, public notice, intent to file an application with USDA. I'd like to make a motion to authorize the town clerk to publish this notice on behalf of the grant that we need.
I'll second.
Either one, fight it out.
No, there's no fight. I'll take one, Jim, take the other.
vote, Councilman Hughes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger,
Yes.
Councilman Prislavsky,
Yes.
Councilman Ryan,
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes, did I put that in your folder? Okay, this is the night for modifications. We have a modification for the High Falls Water District employee salary resolution. I don't think I need to read the whole thing over again. We're modifying it to, number one, High Falls Water District reimburse the town of Rosendale sum equal to 20% of all base pay is gonna be added, payroll expenses and benefits, and 100% of all overtime expenses paid for emergency services relating to the High Falls Water District. So basically, it's the same resolution as before, except for those two things. That's to ensure that if any of the districts have an emergency, that means that they have to work after hours, that would be charged solely to the district that it affected, rather than all the three districts. So that's Resolution 1, 2015-8.
I'll second it.
I think
I quit trying.
I did, I
Oh,
was
yeah,
gonna
but
change it,
I
you
didn't
got
know
stuck.
This is the one we did,
I
this is
think I
the
had
same
the-
resolution we did last week.
Oh.
It's just that we're adding this to, we're changing
Got it.
that.
Okay.
Okay.
Roll vote, Councilman Hughes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger,
Yes.
Councilman Prislavsky,
Yes.
Councilman Ryan,
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes. And I'd like to make a motion that we pay our bills.
I second that.
Jen,
That's
there
the
was
comfort.
another
I
payroll.
left it.
Is that a record?
That's close, 1 hour flat.
That was added.
And that was with a lot of reading too.
Not working out.